Hey Donna, your hair looks pretty.
Hi,
You have those
thank you.
like 20s starlet waves. It's really pretty. You do. It looks great.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, let me say, I'm sorry, Kim. Let me say welcome to everybody. Glad to see you. I know it's been a while, a minute since we saw each other, but I thought it was still important to go ahead and have our monthly call as we have been doing, and also I thought it was a good time for us to. Some questions were asked when we were in our workshop, if there were any opportunities to critique, write an evaluation, pick out an adjective that you want to put there uh, on the convention, and no, there really is not. And you got to remember that this one has been done. It's not going to be back in that part of the country, in that part of Texas again for another 16 years. But what we can do is talk about what we can do to make it better moving forward. Now, does that mean that this information will be uh, shared or taken on, or it will be shared, but does it mean it will be? I don't know the word I'm looking for. Will it be taken to heart by the current incoming council? We don't know, but we can certainly give them our thoughts, and that's all we can do. But I can tell you that we're certainly will take those in as constructive criticisms for us to work on as we work toward and prepare and plan for our state convention. Kevin, welcome. I want to let Cody know you've joined us, so welcome, Kevin.
How do?
I'll do.
Boom.
So I did have Kim, who did send us, and I see that Terry is with us. Welcome, Terry. Kim did send me a couple of three things that she had brought up. So, Kim, you want to start that out with yours, or?
Honestly, I don't remember what I sent you other than, and y'all take this with a grain of salt. Having planned one of these, I have some inside scoop on kind of what rates are for certain things. So my comment was about poor Terry, cracker and butters. Really? That's it. I felt so bad. The quality of the lunch we had for the price we paid. And I think every one of us around the table were a little bit stunned at seeing just a plate of some unidentifiable salads set down in front of us. And I was kind of surprised for the amount that was paid at what they brought out. They also brought out, looks like roast beef or steak sandwiches to some, and then there were some burgers to others. So there didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason, but I was a little bit surprised at that. And then after what Chris told me about a previous um, council chair talking about how much money they were making off of us at a previous convention, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I hope this council wasn't trying to do the same. But if you're going to charge somebody 45 bucks for a lunch, I get it for dinner, but for lunch, it better be pretty substantial because poor Terry, there wasn't anything for her to eat. Otelia didn't like it. She didn't eat it. And I just thought it's kind of sad not to have a plan B. So yes, like Jared and I have talked about for our luau dinner, we will have options for those who are not meat eaters. Call it a vegetarian option. Or if you can't eat beef or pork, you could have a chicken option. And those are the kind of things I want to make sure that we consider because I never again want to see Terry eating a cracker with butter for lunch. I mean, that was just sad. But that was one of them. What was the other one, Chris? Do you remember?
You also had on there the name tag meal numbers were
Oh, yeah.
confusing.
I've seen at several of these conventions, they'll have symbols on your name tag for certain lunches. And that's actually more for the people manning the door to be sure you're eligible. But I didn't really understand the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing because I just had 1, 3, and 5. And that's my fault. But I could not figure out for the life of me which meals I had. And I didn't have my registration form to remember because I registered in February. So we just want to make sure that meal symbols or whatever code system we use is easy for folks to understand and remember because I should have known and I probably gypped one meal, walked in and just freeloaded. I don't know because I don't remember the numbers. Those were, I think, my two concerns.
Well, I can, Gary, you have, and thank you, Kim, for that. And your third one was bus availability, and shuttle availability is always an issue when you got shuttles running back and forth. You're never going to please the masses with shuttles. And we will I'll address that here in just a minute. Gary, you asked the question or made the statement you'd like to see the P&L from this. We'll never see the P&L. That's a district function. That P&L is not shared with the state. The district bears the burden for that, and I could probably get them to share their budget, and maybe if they do as an example, if I have like the budget that we do for at the district, or like we have done, I'm looked at two of them here for one for Waco and one for Fort Worth, where they actually have an actual or a budget and then the actual. Then I could tell exactly, we know what was spent and what was not spent. But to actually truly get a P&L, they'll never share it, Gary. So
What? Okay, I appreciate it. So who is responsible for setting the budget for the state convention?
the district that is hosting the convention. So the budget is set by, in our case, for the 26-27 year, it will be District 2S1 sets that budget.
So is there anything in our constitution and bylaws, I guess I'd look, that prevents them from making a profit on something of particular nature?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, if you go back far enough to A1, when Tom Blaze was the council chair, that would be 2016, 2017, or maybe 2015, 2016. When he was the council chair, that district had, I want to say they had $25,000 or $30,000 that they had in their district convention fund. They went and then they charged everybody, as everybody does, and if we all know Tom, and I'm not talking down about Tom. Tom likes to save money. I will call him very frugal, and those who know him really well will agree he can be very frugal. They made. I bet you they made $20,000 on that convention, but everybody ate well, but it was not as normal. But there's nothing that prevents a profit to be made. There's nothing at all.
I don't have a problem with companies making a profit. I really don't. What I have a problem with is price gouging.
Yeah, and I think we all have a problem with that.
I think there really should be some sort of limitations on that, and I don't know. Correct me. I think it needs to be looked at, especially for our year. When we're looking at that, I want to make sure that we are fiscally responsible. And I think if we do this correctly, I think we'll get more people that will come because I'll make it more affordable.
I can tell you right now that I am extremely price conscious on this. Number one. Number two, we're coming off of our convention. Our council's convention will be obviously 26-27. Next year it's going to be in Odessa, and we're going to come all the way across the state back to the eastern side of the state in Beaumont, Texas. So you better believe I'm extremely price conscious because I want to get as many people here as we possibly can. So yes, we will. And trust me, all of you, I know you hear that term from everybody, but really trust me, you're going to see what the prices are going to be well before we publish them at the state convention next year. Okay, you'll know those prices, and every one of you, just by the mere fact that you are council of governors, are going to be on the convention committee. There's going to be you're going to have some job. This is not a free ride. I'm not loading Jared up with all this responsibility, nor am I loading Linda and I up with all this responsibility. This wealth is going to be shared, and this enjoyment of working a district convention is going to be shared with all of you. So what we're all going to have skin in this game. So just to let you know that. Any other
price? Speaking of price, Chris, has anybody
Yes.
seen a price for next year?
Oh God.
Golly.
$85 for the past district governor dinner, the last meal.
Well, it's 75
100,
if you
180 for the whole thing this year to over $300 next year.
Yep, 307 next year
307.
for early bird, 367 for
So save your pennies early and often.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
But do we have to go to all the dinners?
You do not. Well,
Didn't,
you
Whoa.
are we strongly encouraged?
you are strongly, or thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You're strongly encouraged to go to all the dinners.
I did.
One of the things that we did not do, which surprised me at this state convention, is that the only time that the Council of Governors were each step were acknowledged was at the opening session on we did have that at the opening session on Friday morning at the pancake breakfast, and then not again until the dinner on Saturday night. So, which was unusual. Normally, you acknowledge each council at each one of the meals. Now, Jared and I have had some conversation about protocol, and a couple of others of you and I have had this conversation. We'll discuss some thoughts and some ideas of how I want to address protocol when it becomes our turn to do all the things that we got to do. And I will have cleared that with, when I say cleared, I will have notified our international family of what we want to do with protocol. It's not that we want to do away with it. Once you establish it, why do we have to keep standing up and down every time for this? So once you establish protocol, we'll establish it and move forward from there. Anybody else have any comment, concern that about the convention? What you think we might be able to do better? Go ahead, Brian, please.
So I think that if there, maybe the case of my particular service project was much farther and more beyond what they're used to doing. If I don't recall doing any service project other than somebody go out to some local place and then doing maybe filling some bags or something. But anyway, I really felt that I should have had more support from the sponsoring club or district.
The host committee and the host district. Okay.
Right. When it came time to unloading and loading, there was nobody there, and it was a lot of work. So I could have used some help, and they should have asked me what help I needed.
Well, you have also set a precedent now, so you're going to have a long drive come 26, 27 from El Paso to Beaumont.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, maybe you'll have an 18-wheeler by then.
I might.
But it'll all be Ken.
Hey, I've driven cross country before towing a trailer.
It was a great service project, by the way. But I'm sorry that nobody was there to help you. And that's something that I think we need to, it's down to talk about. So,
well, I just keep me aware of the next time if we have somebody come in and do something that's going to involve a lot of stuff. We need to make sure that whoever's sponsoring the thing is going to be helping those people out.
Gotcha. And that's a real good suggestion. And it's down in the book. And the book is the convention book. So I got it in there. Anybody else have a comment, concern,
Chris,
remark?
Cody.
Yeah, Cody.
Cody. The time of our joint council meeting at 2 p.m. That was long, way too long.
Well, number one, yes, it was. Number two, I, I don't want to. I don't want to beat up on this current sitting council, nor do I want to beat up on Terrell.
Yeah.
I he had shared with the council chairs uh, his reasoning for having the times being different, and understand what he was trying to do. The problem was is that for that 2 o'clock Council of Governors meeting, he had made the statement early on that he was not going to restrict anybody speaking. He was going to let them talk just if they, no matter what they wanted to talk about. And we're not going to do that. I can tell you without any reservation, we are not going to do that when it comes our turn. Yes, it's a time of celebration. It's not a time of listening to people ramble on and on and on and on.
Bloviation.
Which is just crazy. And welcome, Ryan. We're glad to have you here with us. Thank you. Glad you were here with us this evening. As I say, I'm not trying to beat anybody up here on this front from the convention side or from the convention committee, because there was a lot of work. Look, that's David's district, that's David's hometown, and there's a lot of things that went into doing that and the planning of that convention. But there's lessons that we can take from that and move forward into our convention to where we hopefully don't make those same mistakes. So I tend to, while I think it's important that we do some things that are different and that we do some things that are fun, I still think that there are certain traditions that we need to do, and maybe taking that Council of Governors meeting and putting it at the end of the day to make the point at the end of the day maybe not have been the wisest choice, because you're not really crunching a lot of people for time. And unfortunately, as you all know, we all were late getting out of that meeting, and I was extremely late getting out of the very next meeting that followed after that. So that was not a lot of fun.
Chris,
Anybody? Yes.
I'm curious as to what the reason for doing it in the afternoon was, because as far as I can remember, every Council of Governors meeting that I've been to, all the way back to Amarillo and even went to the February one before that, have always been in the morning. I'm curious why they decided to do the afternoon.
He thought it would be nice to just change it up a little bit, to where people were, and I think it fit his schedule for things that he had planned with not only his group but also, and it really did. It had what he had planned with his group. It just fit his schedule, and he thought it would change it up. And if you looked at it from the standpoint of just changing it up, wouldn't have been bad, Mike. But where it got bad is when we drug it on and on and on. We just hung out there too long. So,
well, to be quite honest, there was no end that was of particular importance, like lunch or something, where you get people finishing up because they know there's something else coming. That was a free evening. So, to be going on was not as big of a deal. And that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, when you're doing it in the morning and you start at 9 o'clock, you've got lunch coming up, and there seems to be that deadline there that people have to work against.
right.
Not only that, but yeah, I agree with what Mike just said. If you looked around the room at about 4:30 or so, 4:30, it's embarrassing because the room had practically emptied out. There were a lot of vacant seats. And so you've got these speakers who are delivering important information to an empty house. So I agree.
Yeah, as soon as he broke for the break for a little, let everybody go to the restroom, take a stretch. I thought that was good. One of the things that I thought was that was missing um, at that council of governors meeting, there was no water, there was no or coffee.
Right.
I was going to say that. That has to be there.
And
That was my point.
and I was sitting at that head table, and everybody got to go to the restroom. I beat feet out of there real quick and got back because I had some conversation with Mormon that I had to have, and thank goodness that Keith Perrine walked by and handed me a big old bottle of water. So lesson learned. We need to make sure we have water, and I'm not suggesting that you have to have coffee, but for those of us who are coffee drinkers, could have used a cup of coffee that afternoon.
Well, I think we should have cocktails too. I'm just saying.
Those hotels charge so much money for one container, one urn of coffee. It's ridiculous.
Well, they sell it at $5. They sell them at $5. It's $28 for a $5 container. I mean, for a 5-gallon container. That to me is on the scale of that was pretty reasonable. We could have, and water is free. I mean, unless you're having to bring bottled water, but you could have those just like we have it at other places, like such as the Y or any other place. You have the big urns that the coffee could be. I mean, water could be put in. So yes, Brian, I agree with you. There is a charge that would be there, but if you want to have coffee, but at least having some cold water or something there for people, because it was a long afternoon without any hydration. So,
well, I'm just going by the numbers that I heard from Australia as to why we didn't get coffee and water at some of those meetings.
Well, at the caucus, and therein lies something that we'll cross that bridge when it's time for us when we're over, because we'll be a little different. We will not be in charge of the caucus in Hong Kong. That'll be the outgoing governors. We'll be in charge of the caucus going out in Washington, D.C. And I have some ideas that we might want to think about floating instead of that. We'll as we get closer to it, we'll talk about that.
Chris,
Any other?
in Beaumont, is everything going to be in the hotel, or are we going to have to hike up and down the street again?
The beauty part about Beaumont and where we're going to be is everything will be self-contained in that hotel.
Yes.
Great. Yes. Great.
You park the car, you'll never have to leave unless you want to. I mean, there's nothing that says. I mean, I don't have currently on the schedule I'm working on, and again, I haven't cleared that thought I mean, I haven't. When I say I haven't cleared, I have a local host group that I'm working with down here. Jared heads that up since he is on your council. He is kind of. I won't call him the council or the convention committee chair, but for all intents and purposes, he is, and he has a couple other folks that we have working with him on this. And that's to help come up with some ideas and some fun things and for us to do. But how I envision the convention going, I've not run that by Jared yet. He may want me to remove something, or he may want to add something. So, but everything that we're going to do, all meals, everything, including the reception, is going to be there at the hotel. So,
Good.
So which I think is good. I think we can. I think it'd be very easy to do there. Anyone else have anything that they want to throw out there about a lesson learned or something that we might want to think about as we move forward?
Hire a bartender.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say.
Oh yeah, that too.
Bartenders. Absolutely.
Yes,
Bless their heart. Bless their heart.
I was to give you you guys think that you hear me say, well, the last couple of days I've been working on this. I have really been working on this. I had a conversation with Vince Rosen yesterday afternoon. And I think Vince is convention that he ran in Fort Worth was extremely successful in not only from the standpoint that he had about 400 people there. I think he had 412 as and Mike, you would know this a little bit better.
425.
That's a good count.
And that's it, and that's a good number. But number one, even before all the roadblocks got thrown into his face, when the hotel they had booked was sold and bought by another chain, which meant a complete renovation of the current hotel, which shut the kitchen. I mean, you can go on and on and on. But one of the things, but they did a very good convention. So I was talking to Vince. And one of the things that I was looking at is that we're going to again be in another Elegante. They also offer free breakfast in the morning. And so I was talking to Vince and I said, my thought process is to not charge anybody for a breakfast. We'll just use the hotel as a breakfast for their free breakfast. He said, great idea. But what if you have and he said, Chris, let's just say you got 350 people or 400 people at your convention. They all show up to have breakfast at one time. They're not going to be able to handle it.
It happens.
And he's right. So we will have breakfast. So, but
it seemed like a lot of the problems at this convention, it didn't really feel like the Elegante was adequately staffed. I think we overwhelmed them.
Right.
Even though they saw it on paper, they had one waitress in the diner. The bus driver was a waiter during dinner. It just seemed like they went, oh no, what do we do? So a scoop of potato salad and a scoop of chicken salad sandwich was kind of their reprieve from having to have a fully staffed kitchen, it almost felt like.
You know what? That's a good point, Jared, because I don't know if you all noticed, but there were several managers serving during meals as well, too.
Yeah, there were.
Short-staffed.
So,
I'm sorry.
I think they were short-staffed, and I would predict in 2 years the Elegante and Beaumont may be too. So, because it's hard to get employees nowadays.
Well, I'm gonna again. You're right, Kim. That could very well happen. We have a very good relationship with this particular Elegante. They've done a bunch of conventions for us in the past.
So they're aware.
They're aware of it, and they're actually looking forward to this state convention being there. I mean, I get an email at least once a week, or I will send an email at least once a week, trying to get additional. We're just trying to keep us updated on some things. So as we get closer, I mean, they can't make a lot of promises because we're too far out, but we do have a contract with them. We know what their room rate is. We know what the room rate's going to be. The entire hotel is for the MD2 state convention. They are not renting a single room out to any outside person. So they've made a good gesture to us. So I'm hopeful that they will be completely staffed. So, but Jared, I do have that written down about the bartender. I will agree with you. I think what they again, I go back to the Fort Worth convention. I think that what they did there, while they did have a good bartender, two drink stations at the food site. I think, Mike, and I think you'll have to agree, probably could have used one more.
Yeah.
Because the lines were in some ways a little long. They moved them through, but I'll agree. I mean, come on, it's cost $200 to put up a bartending station. It's not like it's going to break.
The gentleman that was the bartender was also the cashier.
Right.
And it was almost like it was all lines. We could have, I don't know, rented somebody for an hour, because that's essentially how long you had for the refreshment station or whatever. But I think it just all boils down to either they were overwhelmed or they didn't have adequate staff to handle the number.
And then again, it also takes planning. You have to plan this.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to look at that. So, I mean, again, it's not about beating up anybody from this convention. It's about learning some lessons. And so
absolutely not.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
not in
saying you
charge
are.
of staffing,
No, we're
You know,
not.
like Kim said, uh, we can't hire or fire their staff, and we hope that they're fully staffed, but we have to figure out how to work around it if we're not. So
Exactly.
I commend MCM for handling it as well as they did, if you will. But it just seemed like, you know, to the point of the conversation, $45 for a scoop of Sam's potato salad and chicken salad sandwich was
Insulting.
almost embarrassing to say.
But you didn't eat it anyway. You tried to pawn it off on Cody.
Well, you know,
And so did I.
Mikey likes it.
So I think that they just go from what the bottom line looks like for meals, and then they get an agreement on what their prices can be, and then they fill them as cheaply as they can.
Well, I'll give you guys an example. One lunch we're going to have. Jared's heard this. A couple of you have heard this. One of our lunches will be a sandwich that is called the Diplomat. Everything is plated and everything is served. So we'll not have a buffet line. If we do have any buffet line, it will be for breakfast, but I'm still not to the point where I'm saying that's what we need to do. But everything else is going to be plated. That is the Diplomat sandwich is a club sandwich that comes on a crescent roll. Pardon me, I'm not French, so I won't say croissant, but it's and it comes with a little potato salad. I think they cheated everybody with potato salad the last time, and I'll have a conversation about that. That sandwich, and it comes with a cookie, and it comes with iced tea, coffee, or water. It's $16. Gratuity to the hotel has a flat rate of 22%. You take that $16 and 22%, you're still less than $20 for that meal. I asked the question to Vince yesterday. I said, look, the way I look at this, I'm trying to break even on things. I'm not trying to go crazy. I said, when you planned your pricing out, did you plan it as if you were a turnkey operation? So if you paid $20 for something, you're going to sell it for 40. He said, no. He said, what are you thinking, Chris? And I said, I'm thinking that lunch should be $25. And I think that is a fair price for people to pay for a lunch at a convention. You're going to sit down and be served. He said, you're exactly right. That's a very fair price. And so one day we would have a sandwich. The next day for lunch is a fajita wrap. It's a chicken. It's a good wrap. It comes with some really good sides that come with it. That is $17. Again, with the 22% gratuity, we're not to $20 yet. So I'm looking at ways that we can have some good food. I mean, we're not gonna dine on filet mignon. I'm sorry, we just can't afford it. But we're gonna eat well. It's not gonna be a plate of, as Jared said, Sam's potato salad, some mystery chicken salad, and I have no earthly idea where they got that pasta salad, because that was pretty nasty. But it will be, and you will all know what the menu is going to be well before we put it out there. So, and if it's something that you don't like, you can take that back with Jared, and that host committee will be the ones that will shoot me in the foot or tell me that that's not what the group wants, and depending upon what we can afford, we'll make the adjustments. But I'm trying to make sure that we have a decent food, B, we have a decent price, and C, we make it where people don't feel like they're getting gouged coming across the state or wherever they're coming in from. So that's where we're going. Before we move on to anything else, is there anything else anybody wants to talk about from the convention? Cool. All right.
Got it. Just a minute.
I'm sorry. You're muted, Kim.
Muted, Kim.
You're muted, Kim.
There you are.
Sorry about that. And I told them personally, the evening of Thursday when we were all ushered into that conference room because of the tornadoes, I was most impressed. Even the lady with 4 teeth was very calm. God love her. And we ended up moving into a little conference area. They were bringing in water. They were bringing in chairs. The hotel staff could not have been more accommodating. And the next day I made sure I told them thank you, especially the young girl, because that could have been, she could have skitzed out on us, but she didn't. And I thanked them. I said, you guys were uber professional. Nobody panicked. And I'm just real impressed. And so I made sure I told them that. And Carol, I told him later, the staff did a really great job when these tornadoes were coming through. I've heard so many funny stories about some of our other colleagues getting stuck at the bus station with homeless people. Even Renee last night was at our awards.
meeting.
Yes, and Steve was there, and she told me, "Yep, that's true. We got stuck at the bus station." And so we'll have great stories to tell later. But everybody remained calm. Mike and I were able to sit and visit, and people caught up. And I thought it was well done. I mean, they could have just freaked out and left, but they didn't. So
No, they
should
didn't.
have passed that along.
I'll have to show y'all some of the pictures of hail damage that we've been dealing with from that.
Oh,
I've never seen anything like it, and I've been in insurance for 44 years. So it's unbelievable. A roof that looks like it has been machine gunned or something. I mean, not just a few, every shingle on the thing's got holes in it and stuff. It's just unbelievable.
It is awful, awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Ryan, is it awful?
It's awful.
Ryan, what do you
One day
think? We can get David and Ryan to tell stories.
I just found out this afternoon that a good friend of mine that lives north of town here in Waco, north of the McLean Stadium, has a little B&B building out beside his house. Well, the creek behind his house rose so quickly. We had 10 inches of rain last night, and that is unheard of. Lost his B&B building, and two of the supports for his back patio, he has a porch that runs the length of his house, completely washed away. So his house is at risk of sliding right on down. And I'm just like, we don't get that much rain here. So it was pretty bad here too.
What's the name of the?
I feel all of you have heard of the over in wherever, I forget exactly where, but the lines of Nasser. Have you heard about what you see from up in the air and the lines that go across? Well, I was watching, the reason I make this, watching the show last night, it said that then they were talking about the lines of Nasser, and the region that it is in receives about 1 hour's worth of rainfall a year. I looked at Linda and said, well, then we've had a millennia of their rainfall. So
There you go.
Mike, you had something you wanted to bring up for this meeting.
Well, one of the things we had talked about was the budget committee for the council and ask for volunteers. And so we have a number of people volunteered. So our budget committee is going to be Gary, Kim, Terry, Kevin, Jared, and myself. So
great committee. Good. That's a good committee. Good. And thank you guys for volunteering to be on that committee. It's going to be it's going to probably be a lot more interesting than you thought it was going to be when you volunteered for it. So
we have our work cut out for us.
Well, we do, and there's some things that I think we would like to see us try to move forward with as we go through your first vice district governor year, heading into your governor year, especially in some areas of training. And I'm not talking about for governors or for vice governors. I'm talking about for Lions training throughout our MD. We now have a GLT who is very excited. I'm not saying that Lisa was not excited about being our GLT. Lisa did a fantastic job. Lisa's hands got a little bit tied, and then, as you all know, her father became very ill and subsequently passed away. So that took a lot of her time away when her dad got sick, and it was not good. It was pretty bad.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
She's also had a hip replacement, and she's on schedule for a knee replacement.
A knee replacement. Yes, I knew that. So, as a matter of fact, when she was giving us your training that you had in San Angelo, she was waiting to get ready to have that hip replaced. Then it was killing her just to stand up at that podium. But don't mean to digress. But as we move forward, Paul has really would like to see us really wants to bring back the Texas Lions Leadership Forum. I think that's something that we need as a state. However, I think we need to find a different way of doing it than holding at a venue that's going to cost us what it costs us to hold the last one in San Marcos. And some things that have been thrown around was either maybe we could do it. First time I heard this, they talked about maybe we could do it regionally. I don't think regionally for a Texas Lions Leadership Forum is a great way to do that. But I think if we could hold it somewhere centrally for the state, maybe Waco Temple area, somewhere in that area, but find a venue that is not the cost that we would have at a hotel in San Marcos, and then turn around and be able to, then we could cater some food in. I think we could do it a lot cheaper. So that's going to be something that this budget committee can look forward to. Can also tell you that Chris Moorman and I both are pushing very hard to see or to get an RLLI and an ELLI both in the same year. Money is there. You can do them together. But this whole thing about you can only do one year and one the next year is self-imposed. That never was imposed by Lions Clubs International. So the committee is going to have a good time. It's going to have a real good time in doing that. So thank you guys for stepping forward with that budget committee. Let's see. I had a couple of folks that had some things they wanted to bring up. Cody, you wanted to bring a few things up.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up what in Orlando, the three amendments are going to be voted on, and what are they for? And I am waiting there to go to the council governor when TJ talked about the amendment that he's going to vote for it, and I was a little disappointed. I just that how easy he wants to give up those international directors, three of them. I think we all should fight a little bit, and I understand about membership. I get that, but once we leave those three, you think the other country is going to give up those seats back once we get our memberships up again?
Not India.
Nope. Nope. No. And not China. So I'm just a little concerned at how easy that TJ, and I understand, I get it, but competing around the world for Team USA, those countries love to compete against the United States. They shake hands, but behind their hand and their other hand behind their back, they got a knife, and they would do nothing to hurt us. They don't hesitate to see us fall on our face. So what are y'all's thoughts on that? I mean, those who have delegates that's going to Orlando, how you are thinking about voting?
I agree.
I
guess excuse me.
Go ahead.
I guess when we went to the council of governors this past year, how TJ came in and kept telling us we needed all these people to go to Orlando. Everybody go, gotta vote, so we can pass this and we can work on this, and then come back the same day in the afternoon going, oh, that's okay. We're not going to win it anyway. And I said, well, just earlier he said, go for it. Everybody go. We all need to be there so we can vote. But then turns right around and does a 360 and says, oh, well, it's not going to matter the way you vote because we've already lost. So
gotten more inside info.
I sense that he's also concerned about the impact potentially on a future candidate from Texas. I may be wrong about that, but
you're not.
We have not brought up anybody, but I think that TJ's,
doesn't want to risk it
into the future, and I don't know. Maybe I'm reading between the lines. I
think you're right.
I'm kind of torn right now. My gut tells me that we should stick to our guns, but I want to understand the implications, because if it is indeed true that no matter how we vote, we're not going to be able to pass this, and if it does have repercussions to our ability to elect someone from Texas, someone from the United States, whatever those implications may be, I myself would like to understand those before I finally cast a vote.
Right, right.
If you all remember back in February when TJ did make the comment, Terry, you're right. He made that comment in the morning, and then he came back in the afternoon and changed his tune. In the interim, he being TJ, Mike Butler, and Jimmy Ross they had their own little caucus. They made some phone calls to some other PIDs and current sitting IDs here in Constitutional Area 1, and they were all going to fight this. They were all going to vote no on that amendment until they got their contemporaries, their colleagues, who told them they're not going to vote no. They're going to vote for it because they know it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Mike, you are correct when you say, is it going to have an effect upon us getting an ID from the state of Texas? Because it's my understanding August is going. We're going to open up. We're going to open up for IDs to run in Texas. Doesn't mean that they're going to get voted on in Hong Kong, because they will not. They will get voted on in Washington. They know they're going to have to. They're playing politics. The minute that we, whatever candidate we endorse, they have a 3-year period within which to be elected. So they know the first year they're always going to get asked to step back. So they're banking on Washington as being the place that they go in. So if MD2 bucks the system, this is the politics, and we don't have politics in Lions, right?
No.
Yeah, right.
But this is the politics of Lions, and I hate to say it this way, but it is. If we buck the system, will that hurt our opportunity or our chances on getting an ID elected from the state of Texas sooner or later? It could hurt us for sooner. Eventually, we will have someone elected from the state of Texas, but this is the longest we have gone without having somebody on the board from Texas in memory. I mean, you got to remember, TJ's been off the board now going on 3 years. We haven't, and we don't have anybody from. Normally, we'll have somebody come off the board. There'll be a year wait, and then the very next year we've got somebody back on the board. So Texas is not being represented on the board. Cody, I understand, and you and I had a long conversation about this today on the phone. I understand about your concern about, are we quitting? You told me that you would hope we'd vote no. I will tell you, I told you then, and I'll tell the group now, it's my little protest. I'm voting no. I'm voting no only because I don't think it's right, but at the same time, I know it's inevitable. And you know, I can give my 2 cents for either why I'm doing it or why I'm not doing it. But each one of you who are going to be there in Orlando will have to make that call on your own. And I am not going to sit here and tell you which way I want you to vote, because number one, we live in a democracy. That's not we don't live in a dictatorship. And then number two, each of you are grown ups. You can make up your own darn mind, whichever way you want to go. And you know what? It's just fine. That's why, that's why there's a vote. And it, I know my vote will not have an effect on the outcome, but it's just me. And Cody, it has nothing at all to do with us losing the three seats more than it just has to do with, I'm just not one to just give up. So it's just kind of the way I am. But it is political. There's no doubt about it. It is totally political. And we are going to lose those 3 seats. I'm just telling you right now, we're going to lose those 3 seats. We will still be the highest represented constitutional area on the board, even with eight board members. With 4 and 4, we'll still be that way.
Okay.
Well,
So
this is,
any?
Chris, I was going to say, I copied these 3 amendments that are going to be voted on. And if you read about the second amendment regarding what we have just been discussing, this language is so convoluted. I'm amazed anybody can figure this out. Yeah. Truly. There's different guidance for each even numbered year and the number of directors, and they specify the constitutional areas. And then in each odd numbered year, they specify a different number of directors too, and the constitutional areas or clubs that those should come from too. This is very difficult for the layman to understand, including me. But so politics plays more of a role than changing the amendment. Is that what I'm hearing? Well, I think that there's a couple of things. We'll talk about there's another amendment that I really want to address on this call, and that is amendment number 3. We'll talk about that in a minute for all of you who are going to be going. Okay. This particular amendment, I think it's number 2 is the one we're talking about on the IDs. It is going to be, you're changing, you're going to have, it will be 4, we will elect 4 each year. And for us, it's not going to matter odd or even year in Constitution Area 1. We'll elect 4 directors one year, like 4 the next year. And that's how ours will be. It will always be 4. It will go down by 3, 1 this coming year, and then 2 the following year. That's where it gets confusing of how we're going to lose them. But over a 2-year period, we will lose 3 ID seats on the board. Okay. Yes, it is. The writing, the wording of it is very, very difficult to muddle your way through. And trust me, it's not my ability to muddle my way through Constitution and bylaws. I've talked about this damn thing enough that I've listened to everybody else explain it to me. So I guess I'm parroting pretty much what I've listened to and try to make it make sense to me. So, but that's really what's going to happen. But my big concern, folks, is amendment number 3. And that is that a district governor and a vice district governor cannot be from the same club at the same time. Exactly. And I had a conversation with TJ about that. His comment to me was that his feeling is it will not pass. That is meant more that was brought up more because of the Assami region of, and for those of you who may not know what Assami is, that is India in that realm around there, all those countries there, because of the way that their politics are and the way that if you think it's bad here in the United States, it's horrible there. But
did you say politics?
I did say a pile of tricks, yes. Because this is going to, for me personally, it will have an effect upon my own home district if this were to pass. Because I haven't been able to get a verification if there is going to be a grandfather clause in there of when it's going to take effect. Because you vote on this amendment this year, it's supposed to go in effect the year after that. So we would have in my case, in my district, my sitting district governor and my sitting first vice district governor from the same club. And so it has but I want to ask, I can't tell you what to do, but for those of you who are going to the convention and you are a delegate, I'm going to ask you to please consider voting no for amendment number 3. I don't think it has a bearing upon how we do things here in the United States. I think it has a tremendous bearing maybe in certain other countries, but not here.
Yeah, because I have that problem. Because I have, I'm the first and the new second coming in, we're both from the same club.
Same for us.
And I found it very, very interesting that nobody has talked about that amendment at all.
Yeah, that is
and that's a very, and that could have a pretty difficult or traumatic effect upon MD2. And I don't know about any of the other MDs, but I know about my home district and also about MD2. So they could have a really huge effect there. So
why wouldn't you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Why wouldn't you logically want the most qualified person you can find within a district to be in the succession of district governor? You know,
Well, you would.
If they all come from one club, great, whatever, get the best people you can get.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's my understanding, and if you had any time to spend, if you were fortunate enough to spend some time with some folks from Asami, you would learn real quick that they like to, if they can get for lack of a better term, a little cabal together to rule this ruling party, they don't want to let go of it. And if they can get it all from one club, they can rule that district. And it's all about power. And that's where it's coming from.
Can I interject for a second?
I would like to. I have to go, guys. My grandkids are waiting, and I was going to give this an hour. It's our Doggy Days. I wish you all were here. I'm excited. Jared's coming up, going to ride the parade with me. This is our big fundraiser for the year. We have our Leos back, and they're helping. But I did not know about this, and I want to give a shout out to a club in my area. And many of you may know Jerry Watley, but Kenyon has had past district governor after past district governor. And he called and said, Dumas, you need to step up. We have not had a governor in a long time. And I really want to give a shout out to Kenyon. We kind of tease each other who's the biggest club and a friendly rivalry. But here's that club reaching out to us and saying, come on, guys, you need to send someone to district. And it's very hard to get people interested in district. And so I did encourage somebody else behind me. So I have that situation too, where Kirk Pope is following me from the same club. But we haven't had a district governor in over 10 years. Our last one was David Bonner or James Mahaffey. So I'm sorry, guys, I have to go. I love being with you, but this is a pretty special hour I have left. I have a 5-year-old that goes to bed in an hour. So
you better get to it, girl.
Love you guys.
So do I.
Hey, this is Brian.
Constitutional stuff that does not interest me, but is important and I need to know. So thank you.
You bet.
This is Brian. I need to go too.
Okay, Brian. Thank you. I know you're going to a meeting. Diane, can you tell me what is on Amendment 1? Because I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Can you tell me what Amendment 1 is? I forgot.
Oh, Amendment 1 is the passing on of sales tax.
Local. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that just makes sense. All right. That was a no-brainer. That's probably why I couldn't remember it. It was actually made. I don't understand it.
Yeah, filled with taxes.
Let's see, Cody, you had two other things did we talk about the two other things you wanted to talk about, such as Leader Dog and also VIP weekend?
Well, can I jump in because I was going to say something first before we do that?
Sure.
Certainly.
You had mentioned you were talking about the situation over there. My district is going through exactly what you just talked about. While I love Kadar and Rada to death, Prakash was right before them, and they all came from the Dallas Devers Club, every one of them. So that I was encouraged, but they had another one coming, and I was encouraged to run because a lot of people in my district, while they love these guys, nobody can understand them. And so that was the big part of that. And so anytime that those guys get on a microphone, everybody's like, "Oh my God, here we go!" So that I think that had a lot to do with it, to be honest. So just my input, just so you guys know.
Sure. So Cody, what questions do you have about VIP Day and about Leader Dog Day?
Is it 2 nights or 1 night? And I got the agenda. Thank you, Lion Mike. And I guess we're spending 2 nights there.
2 nights.
That's the one.
Is Jared 2 nights, right, Jared?
Yes, sir. Friday night and Saturday night.
Correct. So that was that one.
Okay, and what about Leader Dog?
Leader Dog, how many of us is not going? It look like everybody, right? Or there's somebody that's not going?
I'm not going with the rest of the group because I have a conflict that weekend. And so
Okay.
they've scheduled me for, I think, the following weekend.
Okay.
I'm not going either.
Yeah, Steve, you're not going, are you?
No,
Okay. Did you call and reschedule with them?
I have not done that yet. No.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, would you just reach out to her and let her know? I feel sure you've already told her you weren't going, but you can reschedule to go this year, or you can wait to go next year, whatever would be. Excuse me, whatever would be your druther.
Yeah,
But I encourage you.
I may wait and go with my well, he'll be first vice district governor elect
Yeah.
then.
Okay, yeah. I encourage you to go though. It's a good time. It really is a good time. I hope that they still have you guys blindfold you and have you walk with a leader dog, because it is an experience that you think you're walking. And Cody, this is not for your ears. This is for those of us with sight. I'll tell you, it feels like you're walking 100 miles an hour in when you're only walking at a snail's pace. But you take away that sense, and it really is something. So, so I hope y'all get a chance to do that. It's a lot of fun. Any other concerns about moving forward? Yes, go ahead, Kim.
It's not a concern. It's just a couple of announcements. I can save
Sure.
it until you tell me.
Nope, go right ahead.
Okay. Diane, your business cards just arrived. Yeah, I know. Stan just brought a box in and put it on the floor. So I opened it. It's all of our business cards. This just happens to be Diane's. And I will bring those to TLC next weekend so everybody will have theirs to use. I had to laugh. I asked y'all to proof them quickly. And then when the printer sent me my proof, I had a typo. Kind of embarrassing. But that just shows you that I'm so used to looking at my own and everybody else's, I didn't think about my own. The other thing is Jeffrey, God love him. He's trying to get a polo shirt to kind of go with our coral ones. And I'm just letting this be an announcement. You do what you want. But this is Stan's coral shirt. Okay. And Jeffrey sent me a couple of shirts he got on Amazon. They look like baby girl pink. And I'm like, yeah. So I did a little research on LL Bean on the men's polo. It's the exact same polo you all currently have, but they don't offer the sunlit coral. They do for women. So if you wanted a spare, let's just say you're worried you mess up one and you need one for backup. Otelia talked about that. Women can order the exact same shirt. And if you want it, you can send it to me and I'll have it embroidered. But we saw this one for men called Midnight Red. So Jeffrey orders one for Jeff and it came in, look at the color. So here's Stan's, here's Jeffrey's. Look how close they are.
Well, they are.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very close. This one, the Midnight Red, is a little more muted, but it's so close, you're not going to really see the difference. So his extra large for himself did not show up, but here you can see the comparison. So, I mean, if you guys would like a spare and LL Bean is offering the Midnight Red, then go get one and we can have them embroidered whenever. But I wanted you to know about it just in case you've already messed up one or you just want a spare. And I'm waiting on his other one to come in and then I'll take them to my local guy for embroidery on everything he sent. So just FYI for you. Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Did you get the blue shirts too, Kimmy?
Which one, baby? The dark, the royal blue or the TLC
the royal
camp
blue.
Yeah, Jeffrey did get that, and he has one he just sent me for Jeff. So they'll match us. That's not a problem. The TLC shirt, same thing. But that other one he sent me, there was one that is like neon orange. I'm like, yeah, I know. And the other one was baby girl pink. And I'm like, Jeffrey, I know you're gay, but you really probably don't want a pink shirt. And he laughed. Yeah, luckily he didn't get offended, but I love that guy. He's funny. But whenever I checked on this, midnight red, it looks so close, and it is very,
Yeah.
very close. So we got lucky.
Yeah.
So anyway, if
Nice.
anybody wants one as a spare, just know LL Bean has them right now. So
Okay.
Now, y'all guys all see the picture that's behind me here. That's what we took when we were in San Antonio. We need to do that one more time, and I'd like to get a picture just like that in August when we're all together in Kerrville. Okay, because obviously we need to replace Chris and have Jeffrey in there. So, and I can't tell you how many compliments I get on that picture of this fine group of people every time I'm on a call like this that is all Lions. I only use two backgrounds, either our council or I use the state of Texas, and typically I use our council just so people have to ask, who are all those good-looking Lions? And I get to tell them.
We just lost electricity, guys. And
you sure did.
Yeah.
Cody, you're literally in the dark.
Yeah, I'm literally in the dark. It's thunder and lightning outside.
did you lose power?
Yes.
Holy crap. We don't have rain yet. It's sunny here, but we're getting more tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody else have anything that they'd like to bring forward before we shut this down for the evening?
One thing, if I can, this is a positive note, and Jared will appreciate this for sure. Our club program at the meeting today was a young lady who's, I'm guessing she's in her middle 20s, maybe 30. And she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 5. And she was going to school, and her school, she was the only one in school that had diabetes. And then she went to Plainview, to a bigger school. She was still had 350 in her class, and she was still the only one in school with diabetes. And Plainview Lions Club sent her to Lions Camp, and it changed her life. She found out that, hey, there's lots of people that have diabetes. You know, I'm okay, and she loved it. So much so that she didn't go until she was like 13, but I mean, so much so that she came back, and there is a children's diabetes little kind of a camp locally, and she's been a counselor at that for like 5 years. And she talked about Lions Camp and how wonderful it was and what it meant, and it just gives. There were a lot of people in that meeting that have never been to Lions Camp. They've never been to Lions anything other than going to the meeting and eating lunch once a week. And I think it really put the point across that, hey, Lions really do something worthwhile, and Lions Camp's really a big deal. And it was a great meeting, and so we will. I think we ought to film her and Ryan, are you dying? Yeah. Anyway, it was really good, and I just think that I thought everybody might want to hear about what she went through and what it did for her. So
she'd make a good guest speaker at one of your meetings.
Oh, she was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Great PR opportunity for TLC, Jared. Just saying.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything that I promised y'all that I would send you that I haven't sent yet? I know that I promised some things.
$1 million check hadn't arrived.
Cody.
Actually, Chris,
yes.
I'm sorry. We need to come into the center room. There's like a tornado warning.
Oh,
Cody, get off.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Get off.
Okay, good. Okay.
Hunker down. Hunker down.
Where do you live, y'all?
Yes, Mike.
I was
Edinburgh.
Okay.
I was doing the results of our meeting on Wednesday and
I'm still on the Zoom.
sending it to Otilia to do the minutes. And there was something I noted that you had said you were going to provide, and it's drawing a blank right now. I will text you what that was.
All right.
Bring a chair.
Close the door.
You want to bring a chair?
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
bring a chair?
Yes.
Making me
You guys
nervous.
are still zooming here, huh?
Coach, turn your
Coach,
turn your
Coach.
phone off.
Turn your
Okay,
phone
will
off.
do. Okay, thanks, guys.
Be safe.
Thanks.
At the
Turn your phone off.
I think that I've sent what I had on my notes that I to send you. I think I did, but
But what do you
again,
send
if
me
there's
with?
something I've missed, please let me know, and I will send that out to you.
I will. Like I say, there was something that sticks in my mind, but it could be
Okay.
me. So.
All right. Anybody else got anything?
Good to see everybody.
Always
Oh,
good
I'll
to
bring
see y'all.
everybody's stuff to Kerrville. So
Always an honor seeing you all.
David, thank you for your hospitality this past weekend.
Indeed.
I didn't
Thank
do
you.
Garage
anything.
was a hit.
Yeah, that was a good
Artist
place,
it
man.
was.
That
David,
was
you
a good
arranged
place.
some wonderful weather for us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. I wanted you to have the real Lubbock experience, hail, tornadoes. I couldn't quite get the hay boob to come through, but